Simply Made Homestead. Well, today we are going to make croutons with some bread, some homemade bread that I'd made a couple of weeks ago. And I figured one loaf would be left. We don't eat a lot of bread. And I love plain white bread. My grandkids love plain white bread. That's the reason I made it. They haven't been around, so I've got an extra loaf left. And I'm going to take you along and show you how to make croutons from scratch. Now, if you have never had homemade croutons, you really need to try this because there's just nothing else like it. The ones in the store, I too enjoy, but they're harder. They're just different. Now, I just turned my oven on to 375. I've got it heating up. Now, since the bread is homemade, it doesn't have all the preservatives and stuff like that you get from store-bought bread. So I have kept it in the refrigerator because it will begin to mold and spoil much quicker. Like, you can sit a loaf of bread on top of the refrigerator and it lasts for a scary amount of time. And this one right here, if I had left it out, it would have already spoiled and I would have had to throw it out. But if you keep it in the fridge, it makes it last much longer. Now, the only downside to keeping your bread in the fridge is that it does get a little stale a little quicker than that fresh, soft yumminess that we all love. But like I said, I knew I was going to make croutons out of it. So, not a big deal. Plus, even though it gets a little stale, it's great for toast, grilled cheese sandwiches, grilled ham and cheese sandwiches. I mean, you know, just let your mind go. But today we are going to make croutons with this beautiful loaf of bread. Now, if you want, you can go through here and slice off all the crust. Just make nice, thin little slices just to get the crust off if you don't want crust on your croutons. I just hate wasting the bread. I really just hate wasting the bread, and I don't mind the crust, so I'm not going to do that. But you see here, you do have that option. You can literally go all along, and just take off the crust. Here, I'm gonna do a little bit here just to show you. And you can see I'm being very, really chintzy here, trying to save every little bit of bread that I can. But we are going to just cut it up and make croutons today. Now, there is no rhyme or reason as to how you cut it up. You just cut it up into whatever size you want. Now, I have cut them up in like an inch size. That's a little bit big for me. I like mine a little bit smaller, which by the look of it, it may be going into an inch again. But like I said, you just make your croutons whatever size you want. And of course, the bigger the crouton, the longer that it will take in the oven to cook. So I am just going to continue on here, slicing up this bread until I get it all in little cubes. And I am using a bread knife because it's just much easier to cut through the loaf with a bread knife. All right, now you can see here my cuts aren't real even. The top's a little thinner than the bottom, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Long piece of bread. You can cut it in half and go from there, guys. I swear, it does not matter. So now I'm just going to show you on this first one here, and then I'm not going to keep you watching and boring you to death while I cut up bread. Just like that. Turn it around, and then cut it into cubes. Just like that. And honestly, after your bread, I would not do this with a freshly baked loaf of bread because the bread is going to be soft and it's going to be more difficult to cut. So if you let it, if you know you're going to do it, I never know when the chance is going to come where I'm going to get to do something, so I keep it in the fridge. But the cool temperatures in there and it being in there a little while, it makes it firmer and it's easier to cut. Or you can literally take it out of the bag, sit it on the counter if you think, oh, I'm going to, you know, make croutons in the next day or two. Sit it on the counter and let it sit there. I'm just cutting up a couple of these that are a little large. And guys, I'm going to tell you something. These are so good. This may be, I maybe should be a little embarrassed to admit this, but I'm kind of not. I love eating these right out of the bag. These bread bags that I keep right here, that I keep my bread in, I'll put my croutons back into those bags, put them on the shelf, and we have literally snacked out of those bags. It's that good. All right, now I've got a nice big pan here. Personally, I'm going to cover it with a little parchment paper just to make the cleanup a little easier. I do not own a dishwasher, so I can tell you, washing dishes is like my least favorite thing to do. I'd rather clean a chicken coop, honest. So anyway, here we go. I'm gonna keep going. Now this side's pretty skinny, but that's all right. We're just gonna have nice crispy croutons. Now, here we are. Oh, that was kind of big. Cut that one in half. Ooh, about cut my thumb. That would not have been good. Okay. Now you can see, got a nice big tray of croutons. And today, what we're going to be using, we're going to use some olive oil, salt and pepper. I'm using the pink Himalayan salt, but you use whatever salt that you prefer, and some Italian seasoning, because I love mine seasoned. And I'm going to grab a little garlic powder. Now, when it comes to seasoning your croutons, you can season them in whatever ways that you like. If you don't like pepper, don't add pepper. If you like a different kind of salt, use a different kind of salt. If you want some plain, some with Italian seasoning, some with garlic, you don't have to use any of these things. You can do them plain if you want plain. So you make that choice, whatever makes you happy, whatever kind of flavors and seasoning that you enjoy. But anyway, these are the things that we like. Now this right here, this is a Walmart Italian seasoning bottle here, but my Italian seasoning I actually get from Azure Standard. I'll leave you a link below for you if you want to check them out. We buy it in bulk because we go through a lot of it. I use it in my pizza crust and in a lot of ways. And we love pastas and things like that. So I just keep it in there because it's small and it makes it handy and easy to get to. All right, so we are just going to, our oven's ready. Boy, oh boy, that was almost perfect timing, wasn't it? Now, like I know you've probably heard, best tool in the kitchen are clean hands. So make sure you got your nice clean hands because we are fixing to get, fixing, that's a southern thing. We are fixing to get in here and mix this olive oil all around in our bread. And the olive oil does two things. Well, three things actually. It adds lots of really yummy, good flavor to the croutons. It also helps to brown and crisp up our croutons. My paper is sliding all over the place. And it helps our seasoning, it gives our seasoning something to stick to. So we add our seasoning in there and it just all sticks really well. I am going to add a little more olive oil. And you see, guys, I don't know. There's no measuring. When it comes to cooking, I don't do a lot of measuring. When I bake, I do. I'm very precise. Or I make soap. It's very, very precise. But when it comes to just baking, and it's so freeing. Last night, we'd had a very busy day working. Everybody came home, and well, my husband and I were already home. Our little one, for those of you that don't know, we have a 3-year-old that lives with us now. Our little one came home from daycare, and she is always starving. I had taken nothing out to thaw, and I thought, what am I gonna cook? Well, pulled out a bag of pasta, which is always a really good go-to, and added some olive oil and butter to a pan. Threw in a can of organic rotel. Yep, rotel, because I wanted some tomatoes. Didn't have any fresh, don't have any dried right now. Thawed out and squeezed out the water of a bag of spinach. Some garlic, salt and pepper, a little more olive oil, grated Parmesan cheese, and honey. I'm gonna tell you, that was the first time I ever done that one, and it was a hit. We loved it. And fortunately, our 3-year-old, she doesn't like bread, she doesn't like chocolate, she doesn't like peanut butter, but she loves vegetables. Gets excited over a salad. Will go out and eat peas out of the garden with me. She loves it. Spinach, not a problem. She loves all that stuff. So that makes me very, very happy. Even though I adore chocolate, I can live with it. Let me get my hands washed up, and we're going to add some seasoning. All right, just got my hands washed up because they're all greasy from the oil, and I need to get my hands into all of these seasonings here, which we're going to get our hands back in it again. I know. A lot of washing of the hands, but I don't want to put greasy hands all over my herbs and things. All right, so I just sprinkle. We love garlic. I added lots of garlic, lots and lots of garlic. The Italian seasoning. We'll do the same thing, guys. You just got to eyeball it. And remember, when you put your coat of whatever you're putting on there on top, we're going to toss it all around. So you need enough on the top to be able to disperse to all of the croutons. Or all of the bread chunks, or whatever you want to call them. They're not quite croutons yet. All right. And my husband loves pepper. He loves spicy things, honey. He's got to hot sauce everything. Told him it's an insult. It makes me think my food's not good, but he hot sauces it. He doesn't do it to everything, but I'm telling you, he gets real happy with it. He likes his hot sauce. Okay, so I got my hands back in this bread, these little bread cubes, and we're just gonna mix them up again. Get all the seasonings nice and mixed in there. No need to rush. Now, like I said, the amount of time that these are going to cook in the oven will depend on your oven. It's going to depend on the size of your bread. So I am going to start off with about 20 minutes just to see how they look. If you have smaller bread chunks, you might want to start off with 15. But we're going to start off with about 20 with these. See how they look, and when they start getting brown and crispy, what we're going to do, we're going to toss them around, and then we'll put them back in there for a little bit longer. But we're going to just have to eyeball it. And y'all, don't be scared of going with your instinct, okay? I know I'm one. I like list. I like direction. I like a plan. I like following the rules. But when it comes to the kitchen, guys, just open up your heart and let it go. Just learn to love what you're doing and you won't always succeed, and that's okay. That's how we learn. But this is ready to go in the oven, so I'm gonna wash up one more time, and we're gonna get it in there. All right, so the timer went off. So let's take a look and see what we've got. Now, as you can see, it's beginning to brown along the edges. So I am just going to toss it around as carefully as I can. Look at that. Look at that. See the nice toasty brown? And it smells amazing, y'all. I mean, of course you add all those seasonings and the garlic. How can it not smell good? But I'm just gonna spread it back out. I've tossed it pretty good there. So I'm gonna spread it back out. I'm gonna stick it back in the oven for about 10 minutes and check it. And I'm probably gonna be good. All right, 30 minutes has passed. So let's take a look here. Oh, it's definitely done. Look at that. Let me turn on the oven light here. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Look at that. Can you see those? Not well, can you? Let me move you over. Move all my stuff around here. Too much stuff. Too much going on and too much stuff. All right, look at that, guys. You see how brown and crispy and yummy look at that is? Is that not amazing? Check that out. Do you see that? Beautiful golden brown croutons made from scratch. Let me try a little one right here. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? Crunchy, full of flavor, no preservatives. So much better for you guys. Let me know what you think. Give me a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get in the kitchen, guys. Start learning how to make some things from scratch for our families, healthier foods, cheaper to make, and share this with your friends and family and all across social media. I gotta have another one. So good. So now I'm gonna take them over here, put them on a cooling rack, and let them cool all the way before I put them up in whatever container you want to store them in, okay? You can store them in, I may try to store them in glass. They may keep better, stay crispier, because when you get them in plastic, they do kind of soften up a little bit. So I think I might try that out. Make sure you let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and God bless.